G'day everyone and welcome back to Skyrim Special Edition. Now, this video is more of a mod talk slash ramble, just kind of me talking about mods I've installed for Chapter 2 and any mods that I may decide to install later down the line for this playthrough. Now, let's start off with one of the more obvious changes, being the weather mod. I've uninstalled Cathedral Weathers and replaced it with Azurite Weathers and Seasons 2. I've also uninstalled Volumetric Mists and replaced that with Azurite Mists, which is apparently supposed to go perfectly with Azurite Weathers and Seasons. Now, Azurite Weathers very much reminds me of both Natural and Atmospheric Tamriel and Vivid Weathers. I feel like it's because of how vibrant the colors are and how warmer it feels compared to Cathedral. Because Cathedral's goal is obviously to make Skyrim feel like an actual cold, frigid Nordic country, as it should. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's a very good thing. I really love Cathedral. It looked absolutely brilliant, especially some of the sunrises and sunsets. I'll have some of those up on screen so you know what I mean. It just looks absolutely beautiful and just gorgeous. But of course, I kind of wanted something a bit different, so Azurite Weathers and Seasons is that different weather mod, and I do like it so far. It definitely does feel quite nice. Apparently, this is kind of a combination of Cathedral Weathers, Obsidian Weathers, and Dolomite Weathers, according to the mod author of this particular weather mod. And it looks absolutely brilliant. It looks great. I think it has some of the same features that Cathedral has, being, I think it was Azurite Meditation. Apparently you can use this to sort of, play around with the different settings and stuff, like making the seasons more seasonal, so that way seasons kind of make sense depending on the time of year. At least I think that's what it does. Now, I've also decided to uninstall I Need and replace that with SunHelm, which is kind of a combination of I Need and Frostfall. So yes, this does have a hypothermia survival aspect to it, and it's not quite as in your face and harsh as Frostfall, but I think it's actually kind of a nice little addition to this playthrough, because I don't think I've actually played with a hypothermia survival mod that much when it came to Skyrim. Usually I would skip out on survival mods, but just for this particular playthrough, I think having some hypothermia survival would be good for this playthrough. Now, SunHelm basically has the same things as I Need. Basically, you have to, eat, sleep, and drink, but obviously now you have to keep yourself warm, so now I'll have to make sure that I'm wearing a cloak at all times whenever I go out into colder areas, such as the northern part of Skyrim, like in the Windhelm area, Winterhold area, and, basically just the northern part of Skyrim. Another mod that I've decided to install is Keep It Clean, which is a bathing mod. And basically how this works is you'll get dirty over time and eventually you'll have to take a bath. Otherwise, your speechcraft and sneak skill will take a pretty heavy hit. And I think also you become very prone to getting diseases, which is definitely not a good thing. Now, I think this will be a good mod to have installed because my character, Alice, is absolutely obsessed with being clean, especially when it comes to, coming out of a Nordic ruin or, being in the sewers, considering that the Thieves Guild is held up in a sewer, so it would make sense for her to be very obsessed with being clean. She really hates being in sewers and Nordic ruins, in case you couldn't tell. Now, I've also decided to install Predator Vision, which basically gives you night vision. And I think you can also make night vision potions with this as well, which is really convenient because if you have a look here, everything is just so clear now. Like, look at this. I mean, before, you obviously couldn't see much except for the torch over there near the rock pillar and this torch here, and obviously the campfire down here. Like, this dungeon in particular was very, very dark and quite hard to see. But with the night vision, it makes things so much clearer. Like, holy crap, this could not look any better. So hopefully my videos should now become a lot clearer, because if I decide to say, Well, let's just go ahead and take out the torch here and look into this particular spot here. At the moment, it does look somewhat clear. You can kind of see the dead bush there. You can see a rock there. But if I turn off the night vision, you can barely see anything at all. In fact, if you're watching this on a mobile device, you're probably just looking at a black screen. So this night vision mod will help out quite a lot. Now, I did mention that you can make potions with this. So hopefully any future videos will be a lot easier to watch once I've acquired the night vision potions, because this just looks absolutely amazing. This is one of the best mods I have ever installed for this playthrough, because things have been so difficult. Things have been so difficult to see. Like, not just for me, but obviously for you guys out there as well watching my videos. Like, this is just glorious to see. It's fantastic, and I love it, and it looks great. Now, this next mod that I want to show off is a bit more of a trivial one, and to be honest, I'm not entirely sure if I want to use this mod or not, and that mod is Enhanced Invisibility. Now, just to explain how invisibility works in the vanilla game, basically if I were to go invisible now and try to pickpocket this guard, the second I interact with the guard to look inside of his pockets, the invisibility just instantly breaks, which is not what I want. I was hoping to have found a mod that makes it so that way whenever you take an item off of them, out of their pocket, or plant an item in their pocket, that should be when the invisibility breaks. Now, with Enhanced Invisibility, which is a pretty nice mod at that, it doesn't quite do what I want. In fact, it's a bit more powerful than that. So if I go ahead and say, let's just use an invisibility potion here, wherever those are. Where are they? Here. Yes, if I say, for example, try to pickpocket the guard. Oh yeah, apparently they've also changed the shader for the invisibility effect as well, which does look kind of cool, I will say. So if I were to say, for example, try and pickpocket this Whiterun guard, you can still see the invisibility is still active, which is kind of what I want. That's fine. But the second you take something off of him, off of the guard, off of anybody, you can see the invisibility is still there. Now, I don't know how trivial this will make things if I decide to use it. It's just, yeah, I suppose this could make things more interesting and far more fun, I guess. But obviously, I don't want things to be difficult for Alice here. Now, fortunately, when you do hit someone while invisible, it still breaks as usual, which is good. So I'm still not entirely sure if I want to use this or not. Now, for those who have been watching the series thus far, you may have noticed there are some moments where Alice would really like to have a missile weapon. Now, because Alice really doesn't like using bows and frankly sucks at using them, I won't be using a bow. Now, I have found a mod called the Factions Crossbows mod, which actually does look kind of cool. And in particular, I found the Thieves Guild crossbow within this mod. Now, this does look kind of cool. I really do like the shadow marks on this crossbow. So I think this is probably a decent missile weapon for Alice to use. It's not really too complicated to set up. Basically, you just sort of, take a bolt, crank it up, and you just sort of, point and shoot. Why are they hurting each other? Because it's a crab, you stupid child. Now shut up. So obviously, like I said, this is not too terribly complicated of a weapon to use. You just kind of, put the bolt in, crank it up, point it, and you just simply pull the trigger. Like a bit of an amateur. Which is not necessarily a bad thing, because at least Alice now has a missile weapon. She can simply take off the horse, because I think I'll be keeping this on the horse for this playthrough. She'll just simply, take it out, crank it up, maybe put a poison on it, and point it wherever she needs to shoot, and simply pull the trigger. So hopefully this will become quite useful during this playthrough for Alice. Now, in regards to armor mods, I have actually installed two. The first one is Rugged Rogue outfits, and the second one is the Toughened Traveler outfits. And they both look pretty damned nice. I think they're both made by the same mod author. And they definitely seem more like the casual walk around town type of outfits, you know, like whilst doing your shopping and stuff. So I think Alice would definitely appreciate these types of outfits. Now, because thing is, what I was thinking with Alice here is that she would have one outfit for her casual walk around town whilst doing her shopping type activities, and another one for her more, you know, nocturnal type activities, which is why she has the Guildmaster armor and obviously the Nightingale armor. Thing is, the Nightingale armor is probably the more sort of thing she would use for her nocturnal activities. Especially the torso armor, because I really do like the random blessings that the Nightingale armor now gives you, which I think comes from Reliquary of Myth. And I would definitely recommend that mod a lot, especially if you're kind of fed up with the vanilla enchantments, because the enchantments that this mod gives all the existing artifacts is really, really good, and just, well, it definitely makes the artifacts a lot more interesting and cool to use, especially the Nightingale armor. Now, another armor mod that I may consider installing sometime in the future is the Triss armor, which I think is based off of the Triss outfit from The Witcher 2, and it does look very good. It looks very functional, it definitely looks more adventurous and the like, but I really do like the different color variations that it comes with as well. I think there was one particular color variation, which I think is black and red. And I think that would definitely suit Alice quite a lot, considering Alice is just utterly obsessed with darker outfits, and especially the color red, in case you haven't noticed already. So I may consider installing that and possibly any other armor mods sometime in the future. Probably not for this chapter, because I think I'll stick with the Rugged Rogue and Toughened Traveler outfits for now. Now, there is one more thing that I want to quickly talk about, and that is regarding the mod that I had that replaces the wolf texture and models, and that mod being Simply Better Wolves. Now, there wasn't anything wrong with the models and textures of the wolves. They were quite good looking. I really did like the look of them. They were very nice, very clean, and definitely made the wolves look more like actual wolves. The problem was with Simply Better Wolves is the trophy heads. For some reason, there was still the vanilla wolf heads, and I didn't really like that, so yeah, a bit of a weird consistency issue there. So I replaced Simply Better Wolves with True Wolves of Skyrim, which honestly does look a lot better. And, well, I say a lot better. It's more consistent with, you know, not only with the models of the wolves, but also the trophy heads as well. Now, this is what they look like here. This is what the normal wolves look like. And I've given them a nice dark grey fur coat, which honestly does look kind of cool. And I think I also gave them amber eyes. I think if we just quickly have a look at its face, yeah, you can kind of see it's amber. At least I think it's amber. It might have been yellow or gold. I'm not quite sure. I can't quite remember what I chose for the installation process. Now, this is an Aldrim mod, which I had to port over and optimize the textures for Special Edition. And fortunately, it seemed to have worked out pretty damned well, because they look very good. They definitely seem a bit more realistic, and I'm not exactly sure if I'd say they're better than Simply Better Wolves, but at least, like I said, they're more consistent with, you know, the trophy heads on the wall. So I'll probably stick with this for now until Simply Better Wolves has that issue fixed, the consistency issue fixed with that. Alright, well I think that's all of the mods that I wanted to talk about for Chapter 2 and the rest of this playthrough. Now, when it comes to recording Chapter 2, I'm not really sure when I'm going to start doing that. It's just, I do kind of want to take a quick break from Skyrim for a bit, just to focus more on the main channel, just because I like horror games, and horror games are just generally quite fun. And frankly, this playthrough has been a lot of fun so far. There's been no issues, really. There's been no mishaps or anything like that. It's been fairly smooth throughout the entire chapter, and I'm very excited to see what Chapter 2 will bring us. Well, I sort of already know, but no spoilers, obviously. Don't want to spoil anything.
What you're doing that?